Good morning, YouTube. I've been doing some thinking and I've come to the conclusion that I am old. Now, I don't mean in years. I'm in my mid-20s. It's nowhere close to old yet, but I was considering the fact that I recently bought an 80s Goldwing. I recently acquired this Buick Park Avenue, and I've come to terms with the fact that my receding hairline is not coming back anytime soon, and I should just accept that fact. So welcome then to the channel of the youngest old person on YouTube, and welcome to Tyler Hoover's dream car, and also actually one of mine. This is a 2003 Buick Park Avenue Ultra, and as you can see, it has enough room in it for me to lay down in the back seat, which is great because as an old person, I have a bad back, so this feels quite nice, actually. This particular car was actually given to me by Tyler Hoover of Hoovies Garage. Check out the link in the video description below to see the video where I actually got this car. It was part of a Christmas event that we did that was a lot of fun. We did sort of a Secret Santa gift exchange thing. I got a Ford Focus, which I then ended up actually trading to Johnny the Car Ninja for this Buick Park Avenue after making it very clear that I am absolutely in love with these cars. Let's flash back a few years to high school. I was driving this. Yeah, how about that? That is a 2000 Buick LeSabre that I actually autocrossed. That car got me into everything. I autocrossed the crap out of it, modified the suspension. When I first autocrossed it, it had so much body roll that a friend of mine said it seemed like it was trying to murder him. And at that time we were calling it the road sofa. And after that it was known as the murder sofa. And then I murdered it out and plasti dipped it and all this. And this was back before people were really plasti dipping cars that much. So it was kind of a unique thing at the time. Now I kind of hate it because everyone is doing that. But the whole time I owned that car, the one that I really wanted was its older brother, the Buick Park Avenue with the supercharger, which is the ultra trim level like this one. And now I've got one, and I gotta say, what a car. It's pretty easy to see why this is one of Tyler Hoover's dream cars, because it is such a car. There's so much going on here. Let's take a look around this thing. Just gonna start off with a little cold start here because it is cold out here and I need to move this thing out of the weeds. Oh yeah, it just starts right up. And no errors yet. Windshield washer fluid low. Shocker. So now that we got it pulled out, you can see this is a big car. It shares a platform with the Pontiac Bonneville, the Cadillac STS, and the Buick LeSabre, among probably a few others. It is a full-size front driver from the early 2000s, and the Ultra has some unique features, such as this neat chrome dash with the, look at this. This did the flow tie sort of grill emblem way before the Camaro had it. That is definitely for aero, so that this machine has the absolute lowest drag coefficient ever. And these are not stick-on emblems. Those are actual first-party OEM Buick Venti ports. They go through to the inside, and really just look at the outside of this car. It is in really good shape. I can't wait to get a polisher on this thing and see how it cleans up. The only real issue is this fender alignment is a little bit sus to me. It looks like someone might have jacked it up at the wrong point under here or something, and it just got a little pushed out. That should hopefully be fairly easily fixable. Around here on the back, you've got the Ultra badge. If you're trying to find one of these on Facebook Marketplace or something, don't search Park Avenue, because half of these Park Avenue Ultras that are listed are just called Buick Ultras because people don't know what they have, frankly. And honestly, that's the best one to get because they don't know what they've got. And then you've got, again, the fancy monochrome badge here, and dual, very smoky on this cold day. It's like 17 degrees Fahrenheit out here. Dual exhausts. What a beast. And really, the body is super straight other than that fender. I think this thing is going to come up an absolute treat. And really, it's a similar story on the interior here. It's a little bit worn, but definitely not unusual for the miles, and I think it'll clean up really well. The only real damage is to that armrest there, which I'm pretty sure is a fairly common part. And then you've got some paint wear on the center console, and just a little bit of wear here on this incredibly plush seat. but all the wood is in good shape, and there is quite a bit of it. Look at all this wood here on the center console and the dashboard and the steering wheel. It's all very American luxury. And the back seat, of course, is a literal couch. There's not a whole lot to see back here, but what there is just as soft and comfy as the front seat. As far as features go, this thing wasn't exactly a technological marvel, but it's not really lacking either. You've got automatic climate controls, cruise control, you've got the premium sound system, which honestly, this era of GM sound system didn't sound all that bad. You've got a trip computer, which, let's see here, there's a really interesting thing. If you hit gauge info, and yes, GM spells gauge weird, you can actually see your coolant temp in Fahrenheit, your battery state in volts, oil life index. Whenever you get an oil change, you reset it, and actually it's really easy. Just press and hold reset, and that goes away. Tire pressure, normal. This doesn't have TPMS, it just goes based off of revolution with the wheel speed sensors. And then oil pressure in PSI. And it's amazing to me that on a grandpa car like this, they will show you the actual oil pressure, and also just the gauge for this font. I love it. It's such an anachronism. It's just the goofiest thing ever. It looks like it was designed by a third grader, and I don't mean that as a dig necessarily. I absolutely love that. We also got heated seats, 2 positions, high and low, which is pretty cool. Center console's got a few things, but storage under here, and then the cup holders here. I don't think every version of this car got this center console. I think this was kind of an add-on. You've got an auto-dimming rear view mirror with OnStar. You have the HomeLink garage door opener and a sunroof that may or may not work, but I'm not going to touch that just yet. You also have power mirrors, power memory seats, which I need to reset because this one tries to go all the way back every time I unlock it. Yes, the seats change position when you unlock the car with a key fob, which is a super cool thing. You've got Twilight Sentinel, which I believe is the automatic headlights, if I remember correctly from my LeSabre, and I believe that up there is the auto wipers. I think if I just turn this to there, it will wipe once, and then since it doesn't see any rain, it won't wipe anymore, and it'll change its speed depending on the amount of rain it sees. It actually works really well, far better than it does in modern GM cars for whatever reason. Oh, and then of course when you turn it off, the wipers will auto hide. Down they go. Real quick, just want to show you one of my favorite things about this era of GM cars, and that is the sun visors. Look at this, it flips down, okay? Flips down, and you can look at yourself. Man, I need to do a better job shaving. But also, I can open this up, and that's pretty cool. Blocks the sun on the side, also blocks the sun on the side, but a little bit more. And then, let's say the sun is still coming through the front. Hey, I've got another one, and it moves side to side. How cool is that? They just really want to make sure that you can't see anything out of this car because of the sun. Also, we've got these cool heated mirrors, which is just the best thing during the winter, and then they've got the LED turn signals built into them, which is a nifty feature, especially for how old they are. I think these are actually both heated, and what's really neat is these haven't started delaminating, which is kind of nice. I had heated mirrors on my LS400, and the glass started separating, which was kind of a bummer. Okay, so we've gone over the features, and we've gone over how amazingly comfortable this is, but what about the issues? This was a cheap car, and it was a cheap car for a reason. This was picked up at an auction for some amount of money that I'll put on screen right now because I have forgotten it. But this car does have a couple of issues. One of them you may have noticed already. This screen does not appear to be working. However, one of the brilliant parts of this being a General Motors car is that I can go to pretty much any LKQ and grab that out of any Buick from this era for like $20. And they don't fail often, so the odds that I get one that works are pretty high. Another thing that was really apparent as soon as I started driving this car is that every single tire or wheel on this thing is out of balance. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe the tires themselves are junk. We'll find out when I get these on a balancer. I did look like the alignment could use some work. The inner shoulder, one of the rear tires, was worn pretty bad, so probably an alignment needs done as well. Under hood here, obviously we've got some belt squeak, and let me just turn that off so you can hear me talking better. So under the hood we have some belt squeak, clearly. That'll need resolved at some point. There is a new alternator here, which is nice, but right down in there, that thing right there is one of the Achilles heels of this legendarily reliable Buick 3800 Series 2. What that is a plastic coolant elbow that actually sends coolant through that bracket there that also holds the belt tensioner and alternator. It's kind of hard to see, and those tend to break, and that will spill coolant everywhere. Also, the lower intake manifold gaskets usually need replaced on these, so I'll probably do both of those at the same time. Another common issue that's going to need solved on these is that thing down there. That is the transmission, the venerable and much loved 4T65E HD. And by much loved, I mean everyone hates it because it's really, really, really weak. It has a tendency of slipping, and then instead of 4 forward gears, you have 5 neutrals. So that is going to need some seeing to. There is some stuff that I can do to that just to make that a little bit more reliable, though it's made it 220,000 miles, so obviously it's good enough to do that so far, but these did have a habit of failing pretty early on in their life. Some other stuff we've got here is there is a wheel speed sensor out that is turning off the ABS and traction control. That's pretty common on these. Unfortunately, you can't just replace the sensor, you have to replace the whole hub. Fortunately, all you have to do that is take the wheel off, unbolt the caliper, take the brake disc off, and then it's 3 bolts and the whole unit bearing comes out and a new one can go on. Pretty simple, unless it's like welded on there with age, in which case get your slide hammer out, boys, you're in for a fun time. Other than that, really the only thing is that the steering's just a little bit loose. I think I might need to do inner and outer tie rods, but really that's about it for this whole car. It's pretty dang good. It drives all right. Other than the vibration, these things are just indestructible. I mean, they'll limp along forever with no maintenance, but they are at their best when they're well-maintained examples. This thing is on the verge of becoming unmaintained. This thing is almost a hoopty, but with a detail and a few $100 in parts, I think this thing is going to be one heck of a cruiser. So as I sink into the soft, loving embrace of this leather sofa, I bid you all a good day until the next video. I am really looking forward to fixing this up, and maybe, just maybe, we should get a little bit more power out of that supercharged 3.8 that's under the hood and really, really turn this thing into a boulevard bruiser, sort of like the Grand National of the 80s. At any rate, thanks for watching.